Hello and welcome to Team Fortress TV. This is TurboTabs. I'm joined by Admirable, and this is the established, the world famous, the first of its kind Challengers Cup. I'm excited, Admirable. How about you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the spirit. And we are joined by DavidTheWin on camera, on production. The guy just does everything. He's literally a Swiss Army knife of a production team. Right, well, I bet you're all kind of wondering what's going to go on in this tournament. Well,
especially.
Let me break it down for you, Admirable. So, this is an open cup, so anyone and just about everybody can join this cup, up to about 32 teams. So, it's first come, first serve. Of course, we do have a few invited teams here and there, but I'll get to them later. But any teams could join, so they've just joined up here, and they're going to take on the world champs in Team Fortress 2 right now. That's the top four. You've got such teams as Epsilon, Reason Gaming, Full Tilt, and TLR. Some pretty big names, but to get to that point,
I still can't believe Sideshow is associated with a fucking top team.
It's taking all my willpower not to say with
and
a
he put
straight
his
face
own
as
team
well.
into the invite bracket as well, the little shit.
The strings he can pull, I suppose. If you start pulling those strings, Admirable, maybe you could start throwing Cool Clan into there.
I demand the playoffs.
Well, anywho, if you want to find out actually about those more of those top teams, Sideshow also wrote a guide about it all over on teamfortress.tv. So if you do something like that as well, Admirable, maybe we'll start throwing you some power around here.
The day that Sideshow teaches me something is the day that I roll over and die.
Well,
how about that? How about that?
Hey, didn't he take your Cast of the Season award? Ho!
Did I give it to him? Didn't I gift wrap it to him?
I guess it's up for debate. Right.
I'm feeling salty today, man. You know, I'm very, very underslept. But I'm here. I'm ready, TurboTabs. I need you to, you know, bring me around. Take me away from the darkness. Bring me to the light. Yes, I'm going to just inject your daily dose of TF2, get you all hyped up, back to normal, and then we'll send you on your way. So, pretty much, yeah, the other teams have all joined in, and they're going to be slowly making their way up the ladder, beating each other up one by one. It will be over in a best-of-3 sort of style. The round one will consist of Badlands. I have the map somewhere. Let me just see if I can go and find them. I think it was Badlands, Viaduct, and I'm going to say Granary, just from memory. Yes, it was Granary. Ding, ding, ding. Okay. So they're going to face off against that, and this is... There's no lower bracket, Admirable, so once you're out, you're out. On to the first middle here. Oh. And Volper, the Bleeding Edge demoman, trying to walk forward, but actually gets rushed by Nighthawk, who is back from a hiatus to take Lithuanian TF2 by storm. But it seems to be going well here for mamka. They have a firm foothold on middle. Rixel is going to run in again. The scout trying to challenge, but nice direct rocket there from Rox. And Alfred the medic is just tucked tail, and he's run all the way back to the blue last.
Man, in the excitement to explain the tournament, I didn't notice the tournament had started. Thank you, Admirable. Yes, it will be like a Lithuanian mixed team versus a team that Hex cooked up with his buddies. So it's a good starting point, I have to say, for this tournament. And I had no idea what went on that middle whilst I was trying to find out what maps were happening. But we're here now, we're just going to wing it, go with it, go with the flow. And it seems the Lithuanians have got the advantage so far. Evoke goes in with the Uber charge. He has trying to focus down this pocket, but he's actually... tried to go behind his own point, but he's been met up with another soldier of his. That was actually Rox there who finished him off, but now the Uber charge gets popped off from I believe that's Bleeding Edge's team, or yeah, Bleeding Edge, but they just body block that medic off the point, not even allowing him a chance to block, and they just cap the point outright. Admirable.
Is it true that Bleeding Edge are an all Turkish roster?
I
I think so, but don't hold me to it. I wish I had all the information right here, crisp in front of me, but this computer can only handle so much. Anyway, on to our second middle admirable. We see the Lithuanians completely crawling over the point, not even allowing the Bleeding Edge team to get any sort of space on the mid whatsoever. Teddy managed to squeeze himself through. He's trying to get himself on top of the medic, but the Lithuanians are just not letting that happen. Mamka just seems to be a force to be reckoned with so far.
I seem to remember a mamka is some offensive word in Lithuanian, like, I don't know, whore or some shit. I forget. Oh. But definitely some comical connotation to that.
Maybe I should stick with the Lithuanians then.
Nah, mamka!
Mamka! Alright, well, onto the Spire. They are defending it in the meantime. They have both sitting on a nice healthy 100% Uber advantage. Well, 100% Uber bay a piece, and they did manage to hold on to this point for now. Rox is trying to challenge it, but he's immediately been spammed off. He's actually got a crater before he could actually get back to his medic. Nighthawk has swatted away any sort of defense from Teddy, who kind of positioned himself on that Spire. They still want to hold on to this, though, Bleeding Edge. Even with those two players down, it's a bit really difficult to kind of push this point out. Hex even goes down as well, and I don't think they're going to take this Spire defense without both of their soldiers up, so they just hightail it all the way back to last, and it looks like the Lithuanians are prepping for a push.
Yeah, Kraftas is already moving down main. He's got Nighthawk with him as well, but he's lost his medic for a second there, and he's lost his buff, but it will be Uber versus Uber here. They do have a quick man advantage. Hex back in the field. Just as I say that, Kraftas is trying to spam from main. He's looking to soften up a target as they hunt for that entry pick. Oh, we're going to see Nighthawk dice him at death there as he runs in top right and then manages to just about escape, riding a rocket out there, but both teams just holding tight here. They're going to get those buffs out. It's the team huddle here, TurboTabs. They're trying to decide what exactly they're going to do.
Well, they've decided to just pop straight in, but they've responded in kind, Bleeding Edge, with their own Uber, and they've singled their Uber, so Teddy can make advantage of this Uber and try and push into the top lobby, but he doesn't dare. There's just way too many players on his plate to clean up, and he just decides to go all the way back to last and just settle the fact that he's alive. They do try and pick off this overextended demo man in the lower. Kraftas has been taken out. Now Nighthawk is trying to take out the person that took him out, but he doesn't manage to find his target. Teddy even cleans up Nighthawk, who is overextended into that kill as well. It's just a good old-fashioned trading card game at this point, just swapping kills left, right and centre. Kaju is trying to take on Evoke, but Evoke has got that good old-fashioned prem aim up in behind him, so he does take out that scout, and now they're sitting on a nice healthy player advantage here. Snays even manages to sneak some cap time onto the Badlands last point, and it caps very quickly at Admirable, because you can tell they've just already won the round before I could finish my sentence.
Yeah, that was a bit of a relay race going on there between Sneaks and Nighthawk, but this guy's just kind of brute forcing the point there, forcing the issue onto Bleeding Edge, but that was a foul defense coming out from Turkey. And Volper going to roll out House. Is pretty slow here. He's already walking into Sticky, so he comes out House. He's actually gone Balcony instead. And we do see the Lithuanians all rolling out from Valley here. And they've taken a lot of damage already. They're trying to go deep, just using that superior death matching ability on the Bleeding Edge. And just by that alone, just by flexing on the point, they seem to have forced them out, Turbo.
Yeah, it did look like at face value that they were roughly doing the same amount of damage to each other, but that just was a contribution of Hex getting these lucky directs just onto a couple of the players across the point, but whilst over Mamka had much better point presence, so they just win out the point from that alone. So we do have ourselves a good old-fashioned stalemate, even though there is a slight disadvantage over on the Mamka side, but they're not going to notice that. Or are they? They popped the Uber, almost forced out, but now Mamka do have their Uber ready and raring to go. They popped it now in response, milked it for all it's worth, and they're trying to just pick off all these players that were just trying to force off that Uber. They have the centre player behind. Teddy's just realised, oh well, I'm this far deep, I might as well go deeper, just go all Inception with it, go on a whole new level, but he does get cleaned up, taken out by the both the scouts over on Bleeding Edge, on Mamka now, and this is just all this, that Uber exchange is just forcing them all the way back to the last.
Hex was in there onto Avio at 999, and his teammates had all jumped onto the Spire to cap there, got to point the finger of blame at Rox, who left his medic alone, but He had so much time to get that pick. He even reloaded a couple of rockets there during the bomb. It was going poorly, but he was just gifted that one. So medic down for mamka means that it's all on bleeding edge here to push out from their last, and I wonder what the Lithuanians have in store. Looks like no one's really in position for the back cap. In fact, Nighthawk is gonna just catch loads of spam rockets on main there. Perhaps the reverse pick. He's really trying to encourage these Turks to push out from their last, but they're not even moving forward yet.
Yeah, and look where they're positioned. The Lithuanians are sat all the way back at choke. This is reminiscent of some of these troll sort of strats where people sit back and don't even bother attacking. They just let the player get, the other team get so exhausted that they don't even want to play the game anymore, let alone go and make that hideous and difficult push out.
Back cap is on.
Yeah, but they have attempted it. The back cap, like you said, has gone on. Rox is trying to get his way behind, but he knows that the soldier covering that point and there's no feasible way he can really get to there. But in the meantime, whilst Bleeding Edge are trying to push this out, they're not getting major cap presence. They finally got a scale on that point, but by the time he finally got on there, that the Uber exchange already popped out. The rest of the Bleeding Edge was completely decimated from that little push, I guess. It's just too slow, Admirable. You can really see that the lower teams are going to struggle and don't really hit those timings as well as those Prem players out there.
Oh no. Mamka's showing them no respect. They're just going to keep going here. Managed to force their way in, despite their medic being on like 20 health. And they do make it 3-0 here. We've played about 8 minutes so far. We're going to the 4th mid. Volper's already whiffed his rollout. It could be another punishing middle here for Bleeding Edge.
Yeah, the rate that this tournament is going, we would be finishing half an hour with how much that Mamka's just completely steamrolling Bleeding Edge. But I'm sure the tournament will kind of start to slow down ever so slightly. And Teddy goes in for the bomb. He actually does take out the medic, and that's a big advantage over onto the Bleeding Edge team. They just need to stack up now with their heals, blob up, and start focusing down targets. And you can roughly see that's what they're doing. Unless Hex actually disconnects out, he's just gone AFK. Oh, he's back. He's back to the world of living, and he's just decided to cap the point out. And I guess Mamka, not expecting a player to disconnect during that fight, they just back out promptly. They have actually come back in to kind of contest middle, but that was just not the play to be made. They've lost a player already from that. Nighthawk will get out, but there's still a soldier down at the end of it.
Yeah, for sure.
Alright, well, we've got another slowed down game pace. They've actually got the full 100% Uber charge. I don't know why they're just not pushing in. I guess Bleeding Edge showing their inexperience here. Not really playing to the speed of what TF2 can offer. They're flanking around now finally with the Uber, and they've got on top of the medic. Ibo has gone down, and they're bringing the rest of the flank players in, trying to pick off snakes on this trash side area. Nighthawk has gone in by himself into 5 players, and he has died for his efforts. Not sure what he was expecting with that attempt there. Maybe he was just calming for his team to come in as well, and he was the only one left behind. The soldier Evoke has actually managed to hide himself in the lower lobby and got a huge amount of damage, and now it's followed up by Kraftaz, and they just did a wonderful sort of little sync play there to kind of kill as many players off. They Rix tries to cap off the point there. Maybe during the excitement that Mamka would have not paid attention, and they would have just stealed the round underneath their noses.
Seems like Bleeding Edge still have some life in them yet. A little bit of fight there. They almost managed to make it all the way on to last. Now on the respawn, Volper jumping into contest. Sneaks, Teddy coming in from the flank as well, but he's been hounded by Nighthawk and just face plants into the ground there. Nighthawk going to claim Volper as well, and he's hungry for more, but Hex finds the direct and sends that Lithuanian power scout to the spawn queue, and wow, Kraftas is left totally exposed there. He was just shooting off pipes pretty aimlessly, couldn't connect, and his teammates had already abandoned him. They're just chilling on last here. They've got 3 up, they're trying to buy time for spawns, but the pain is about to come. Straight down main here, Soldier jumps on the point but gets focused. Nobody really comes into the scope of Rixel there. He can't do much as sniper at the minute, and he's kind of giving the game away, so it looks like Lithuania are going to get their charge up. Mamka ready to roll here, they're pushing out. They're hungry.
Well, as they push out, Vox has got himself on top of the spire, the first one to put his foot into the water. Teddy's gone aggressive though, gone for that big chunk bite out of Mamka, but now Hex follows up that damage. He takes out Evoke with a nice clean air shot, and now he's trying to get on top of the medic. Ipo is still not popped off this Uber. How many players will have to die in front of him before he decides to save someone? He finally saves Kraftas. He's been knocked down to the trash area, and now he's just trying to back out the lobby. But the rest of Bleeding Edge is just trying to take their Uber, full 100% Uber charge, keep in mind, all the way back to last. Now they're trying to get sticks on point, get on just that cap time going, and there we go. The first round for Bleeding Edge. I guess maybe we do have a game here, Admirable.
Yeah, worth to point out as well that Kaju, the scout on Bleeding Edge, is sitting on 160 ping here, so my heart goes out to him. But I think they can suck it up. They can deal with it. Kraftas going to roll out from house, but Volper's already in middle, pre-firing him a stickies. Volper's going to try and steam forward there, but no one's following up. There's Hex jumping up, and they kind of contained the combo of mamka in the house here. Kraftas tries to force his way out, but gets beasted. Too greedy there, man. He should have just waited. But the action continues. There was a flank from Rocks underneath, but it's just been cleaned up by Rixel. Hex is going to kill off Sneegs, and they're looking to chase Nighthawk all the way into reset, but Evoke and yeah, Abo 999. They were thinking of going in there, but I think they just took a brief moment to look at the scoreboard and decided to back out and look to fight on Spire here when the respawns come in.
Well, they're pushing on to second, but both teams do have their Uber charge ready, so we'll see what sort of defense that mamka could put out for the Spire. Ivo has popped off his own Uber. X doesn't get out, and the responding kind with Bleeding Edge's Uber. And now they're just rubbing up to each other. Evoke is trying to kind of get on top of this medic before he can get out, and does so very successfully. But in the meantime, Teddy actually took out a player on the flank there. He's even trying to come in on choke as well, just trying to be the hero for his team. But sometimes these hero plays will just get you killed rather than save your team. And Volper's being chased down as well. Evoke is going to clean up another player, easiest kill of his life, and now they're going to probably win out this middle only with 5 players on their own team.
Times 5 on the point. There's one player missing. It is Sneaks. Here he comes to regroup.
And there's a player missing on the team in general.
Yeah. But they are still unperturbed. They're going to steam forward here, man. They don't even have their Uber charge yet, but they're putting good focus fire onto Kaio there, the high ping scout. He decided to go to reset, but there's 3 players on the flank right now. Hex, Rixel and Kaju all about to come out of Hunter potentially, and they've shown themselves to making them kind of look to the side there. They're turning heads. Teddy Bagwell's going to clean up Evoke. Hex finds Nighthawk. Abo 999 trying to get out. Kaju's coming in on the flank, gets the drop!
The ping has helped him. He's just managed to phase and just like flicker his way all the way on top of the medic and just kill him outright before he could possibly have that Uber enter the equation. But on the bright side, that the player they had missing has rejoined the game. Rox has come back to the world of living, and hopefully he could start pushing with his team, or defending I should say right now, as they are on the back foot here with that medic loss, and they are sitting on Bleeding Edge, are sitting on a pretty... Oh, they were sitting on a pretty 100% advantage of Admirable, but he gets taken out by the sniper. Nycor, I know he's one of the freshest talents out of Lithuania right now, and I know he's a complete beast on this sniper, and he's kind of just entered the game with that first headshot, dropping the medic, and now he's just completely turned the tides of this defense, and now they're looking to push on to middle now.
Yeah, I think like most Lithuanians, he's a pretty incredible sniper.
Oh god, yes he can. Every time he seems to mention his name, he gets a snipe. It does kind of somewhat contribute to what was that ending kill on that player. He's trying to shoot at Teddy now, but Teddy's just too elusive for him. But Nighthawk just whaps out the submachine gun instead and just finishes him off that way.
They're gonna be able.
Yeah, they found the winning combination of Admirable in the sniper rifle. They're slowly pushing into this choke, allowing Nighthawk just to see all past the valleys, straight across the horizon, see if we can see any sort of blue players, but they're trying to keep themselves well hidden. He spots Kaiju for half a second, but now he just retreats back into his base. They're just holding this Spire at an arm's length for now.
He's looking for that target. He sees the scout flashing up on the bulk there, but he's kind of slowing the momentum down here. Like, they had a huge advantage and they're just waiting for Nighthawk to get a pick for some reason. Nobody's covering the flank. Rixel comes and gets the 2-shot onto that sniper. Evoke goes forward alone and dies, and now Evo has to pop. He feels to save himself. He's trying to retreat here, but they're already at a man disadvantage. Kraftas is trying to go huge, but we do see Alfred with the big milks there
Well,
and now they're going to bomb forward here, and it looks like a complete wipe on the cards.
They on the bright side though, they did actually force out that Uber in the end. It would have been a complete tragedy if they didn't get that force, so they can, you know, be kind of a little bit proud of themselves for that. Teddy cleans up Rox, who was caught behind there, and now Nighthawk is hiding on this little sniper. You can see the little sniper perch. You can kind of just see enough at the point. Maybe he can get somebody, but he is spotted by a soldier who's trying to shoot a rocket at him. It's just too difficult for a soldier rocket to hit though on that little perch for the sniper. It seems like they think if they're going to win this, they're going to have to go with the sniper still, and Nighthawk deciding to still respawn as him. Probably the right call, the fact that Alfred is going to have his Uber very, very soon. Ovo gets on top of him though, stops that possibility, and now he's trying to pick off Volper as well. Getting the bonus kill onto the Demoman would be a dream. Snakes is trying to follow up his damage, but there's just too many players for all the players to, for all of Mamka to deal with. Snakes does kill the Demoman, and they've just got nobody at all to really push with. Or have they got nobody to push with? They've just sent all their players onto last as well, and there's nobody to defend for the rest of Mamka. Oh no, woe is me. Bad news bears. Deja vu. Bad words. I don't know.
That was big Hex. He went huge whenever that seemed to be going tits up. The medic had gone down. He just went in and found that demo pick on the Craftass thing, killed off Nighthawk, and totally opened things up for his team. And now it's a one-round game here on 6th mid of Badlands, our first map in this best of 3.
Yes,
who would have thought it?
Here I thought the Lithuanians were going to run away with this, but they've just completely pulled it back. Oh, nice air shot by Rox onto Hex there, and that's probably the turning point for the Lithuanians to win this out now. And Alfred is still in the mid, and Diego isn't in the mid anymore. He's been taken out. Volper's being chased down as well, but it's a scout, a speedy scout that's hunting him down. He's joined up by a soldier. He's given the deafening blow, the stake to his heart, and now he's going to meet the fate of 20-second respawns. Lost my breath there. You could say that that wipe took my breath away.
Oh man, it's gonna be 6 players up for Lithuania here as they cap the Spire, and they're just sitting building Uber here. They know it's pretty much even if they've been paying attention to that scoreboard, and they can decide, you know, to use their time wisely and come up with a plan, or maybe just like start rushing players down main, which seems to be the approach at the minute. Craftass just seeing what he can find with that spam. Now they're gonna go up top here, but like this is a perfect opportunity to make a play whilst they're waiting for that charge. They're gonna send Rox in. The Hex just went down to Nighthawk there as well, but they've actually found 2 frags, 3 frags!
Oh, Evoke, they're just winning this outright. If they look at the scoreboard right now, they must know they have a player advantage, and so they have. They've decided to dart forwards. There's no Demoman really defending up that point with his stickies. He finally gets on top of the point, but he hasn't got any stickies to defend it with. He's completely caught with his pants down, and now it's just 4-2 to Mamka, and there's 10 minutes on the clock. They're going to start feeling the squeeze, the bleeding edge.
These bleeding edge players seem a little bit naive, too easily beat it out of position there on their defense. They got picked apart. Well played by the Mamka. Volper going to roll out to his own balcony, drops down onto the slope as his team execute a valley rollout here, but Rox has already jumped in onto the little pillar there. The Hoodoo kills off Rixel and distracts them. They've already been hemmed off in here, and they are just lambs to the slaughter around Closet. Teddy Bagwell trying to equalise things, gets 2 kills, sneaks in a Vokye go down to his hand, but throughout that whole middle, Abo999 stays alive, and Mamka with an opportunity to gain some more momentum and push closer to that big old mercy win.
Yeah, Rox was pivotal for them on that mid. He caused a lot, not only an entry kill, but he delayed enough of Bleeding Edge's time to not even really do anything with that valley push, and they took way too long, and the positions was just too bad for them in the end. They were on the low ground, and Mamka were on the high ground. Nighthawk does take out Rix, who is trying to defend the Spire from the balcony area. Teddy has finally got the memo about 3 seconds late, but he's trying to cut off his losses and get the medic. He barely scratches him, and I don't think he's going to force out for that.
Yeah, man, he must have been watching Sideshow's demos with those rockets, but it's going to be Evoke and Craftass just going straight in through main here. It's a 3-man strike team. They come in and they've assassinated Volper. Demoman down, the point is open. Craftass is going to beat them down. He gets a little flash from his medic to keep himself alive. Has the pain train out there as well, trying, or sorry, the bottle, trying to get some melee kills for his stats. But it doesn't even matter, it's going to be 5-2 here. Still plenty of time left, 8 minutes to get the full wipe.
I feel like that Bleeding Edge are just trickling players at all constant points in the entire game. There's just never know when they should just go back and regroup and just do a solid defense at last rather than a half-arsed defense at second and a half-arsed defense at last. Well, going into our eighth middle, it's been action-packed, Admirable. Rounds going, faster than you could possibly think. How dare I say that this game is going to slow down at any point during the entire cast. You do see the Lithuanians are slowly edging out just on the fact that they've got one live man more than Bleeding Edge right now. Especially, you could add another medic kill onto the bedpost notch, and they're just going to win out this mid outright. And they do manage to get Hex out though. He's been caught out almost by Snakes, who's gotten himself behind, and he doesn't seem to be scared about fighting any soldier, even though he's on 16 HP.
He should have been, because he's just gotten himself a 20-second spawn there. And his team are going to be unable to contest Spire. They might attempt some kind of wonky forward hold here, but I think that would be ill-advised. They just need to keep 6 players up, try and get back to last, but Volper's committed himself horribly into the lobby here. He's been forced into the trash area, but he will almost certainly die. He's just ghosted in behind Kraftas, though he does go down eventually, but sets up that Demoman frag, but there's no stickies on the point. He had to stay alive there. He was crucial to their team's chances of defending last, but he goes down, and these guys are just looking like they're on the bleeding edge of mediocrity here, man.
Yeah, maybe they just do what they say on the tin. There's bleeding players left, right and centre. Hopefully they can just come back from the edge of things and get back into the game. And this is the point to make it now, although that Mercy Rule will kick in and they will not be able to play any longer. 6 minutes left on the clock. You can, it's still very possible, but they need to start wiping people right now, and it doesn't look like that's what they're doing. They're getting wiped themselves, Admirable. Only Alfred stays alive. He's still lingering around in the lobby area, gets finished off as well. I guess they heard my wish for a wipe, but it was the wrong team that heard that wish, Admirable.
Yeah, no scout taking responsibility for protecting Volper on middle there. He just got rushed by Sneaks, and then I ended up dying to Kraftas stickies when he was looking the wrong way. But unable to get a foothold in that middle. The momentum is firmly in favour of Mamka. They are on map point right now. They just need to get this next round to take things. I don't know what the next map is. Turbo?
The next map will be Granary, and if that does go the way of Bleeding Edge, it will be going over onto Viaduct for this first round. And remember, if they lose the next map as well, they're out. That's it, Admirable. No begging for mercy here in the Challengers Cup.
Yeah, it's single elimination. There we have it. Mamka just kind of step on the point, pretty much uncontested after they beat out that sticky trap. And that will be 7-2. We did see, a little glimmer of hope there from Bleeding Edge for a while. But that was soon dulled by their own ineptitude, man. They just threw it away.
Man, do my eyes deceive me, or do I see some logs working on a Razor server? Finally, we get to digest some of these logs, Admirable.
Yeah, we had them for a week, a while ago, and then they seem to just seize up. But clearly, Dilus has been pouring his oil in here. We're lubed up, we're ready to go. What do you see, Turbo?
Alright, I'm just going to go straight to the stat that everyone loves, the damage stat, and what I see is Evoke doing his legacy justice, I suppose, showing that he does come from the higher echelons of TF2 with his full 8k damage, just towering over all of the other players right now, but he is almost caught up with his teammates. I mean, his teammate is almost caught up with him, excuse me. Kraftas also sitting on almost a pretty 7.8 damage stat himself. No real standouts in the damage though. I haven't seen any sort of 10k damage sprees, especially with the sheer amount of action, but I guess you could say that comes from the fact that they lost about 6 minutes of playtime just from the Mercy Rule alone, so maybe Evoke would have hit that stat eventually.
Big Kaju really struggling to get into the game. I assume it's because of his ping, but he ended up 7 kills, 6 assists, and 20 deaths. Only managed to get 128 damage per minute, and seemed to be pretty outclassed here. Obviously, Nighthawk is a little bit of a beast, but it seemed to be Evoke, as you say, he was opening a lot of doors. He was very aggressive, like constantly going in and setting things up for his scouts. I mean, that's all you really need to do for Nighthawk, man. Just give him a few soft targets, and you know he can deliver.
Yeah, it felt like he was doing the job of 2 soldiers, but it's not to say that Rox has been slacking whatsoever. He did actually disconnect during that game, and I think had most of his logs kind of wiped, possibly. I don't know, at least his points were wiped on the scoreboard, and then when he came back, he's actually managed to pick up himself like 5k damage, even though he's missed quite a bit of action from the game. So I think that's a big clapper for him.
Are we going to be moving to a new server then? Is that how it works for these best of 3s?
I guess so. I mean, I am greeted with a server shutting down message, so like it or not, we're going to get a new server, probably.
So let me get this straight. There are $1,500 at stake in the later stages of this tournament if these teams can, survive the brutal gauntlet of this open section of the cup.
I'm sure Mamka can tear their way all the way to the final and just snatch that prize money for themselves. We're just going to watch a Cinderella story, and this is the first humble steps, Admirable.
That's a lot of money in Lithuania, man. You could live like a king.
You could buy half of Lithuania. Alright, yeah, so I guess, believe it or not, we were just kicked out of the server just so they could change map. Very cruel, but I guess you could say it's efficient. As we're just connecting up now, I bet the teams are doing the very same. So the next map will be Granary. The fact that both the soldiers from Mamka have had a good showing over on Badlands, it just leads me to believe that they'll have a very, very good showing on this Granary map, Admirable.
It could be over real quick. But don't be disheartened, viewers, because we will be casting Top 5 Rocket versus who?
Lego. A little team called Lego. I'm not sure if you've heard of them.
And that game is actually going to double up as a ETFL Season 22 Premiership qualifier.
Double whammy.
So the teams have agreed, to resolve any schedule conflicts that way, and I think the admins accommodated them. So it's a game of dual importance. The stakes will be super high there, and that's coming up in the round of 16 after we finish this best of 3.
It makes me very happy at the very least, because trying to just track down all the players, all the casters and all the staff, just to not only cover this game, this tournament, but to also cover the Prem playoffs. It just seems like such a huge undertaking, but it's a good thing the players kind of collaborated and put their heads together and realised this is the best for everybody involved. Big shout out to Top 5 Rocket and to Lego.
Tell me a little bit about the Prem qualifiers so far. I've been away, but what is the current state?
Right.
Who's been eliminated? Who's still in there?
Let me paint you the picture of Admirable from day one. So when the qualifiers were announced, there were 4 teams that were announced that were going to play in this qualifier. They were Lego, Animate, Planet Express, and another team that escapes me. Lego, Animate, Planet Express, and Danger Dogs. There you go. And they were set to play, but everybody in the forums just got out their keyboards and just demanded or even expected Top 5 to make it in there. So the admins made a very unexpected move and just agreed to Top 5 to just play in the playoff. And what they did was they just took out the most controversial choice out of all those 4 and made them play against Planet Express. Top 5 Rocket did manage to squeeze out the win against Planet Express. Maybe not so much squeeze out. They actually took them a clean 2-0 out of a best of 3 map, and then they moved on to play Animate. they did end up losing to Anime, but it was very, very close. And they've been, well, in the meantime, whilst that was happening, Lego was playing off against Danger Dogs in the regularly scheduled games. And Lego did lose out to Danger Dogs, who took it away, I believe, 2-0 out of the best of 3. So now we're just left with that Lego versus top 5 game.
So the winner goes Prem, the loser has to lick their wounds, is that it?
Exactly. They're going to join Planet Express in high, whoever loses that game. And everyone's pretty hyped up, because top 5 is a fan favourite, community, underdog, and everyone loves a good underdog. Admirable.
Yeah, everybody loves 6 baguettes as well.
I suppose.
I want to see some French action. More French teams in Prem, please.
Yeah, actually, if top 5 Rocket aren't there, then they're just not. They're just not gonna. We're not gonna have any French teams. At least core French teams that season. So it'll be. Everyone's expecting for the Frenchies to just come back in. You know, we can't destroy our tradition of ETF to World Premiership. But
doesn't matter anyway, man. Like, we all know Epsilon are going to drop out in week 2 whenever the Overwatch beta comes out.
Pay
they're going to have
too much Overwatch money.
Those jackasses. I'm pretty impressed though. I just had a quick look at the rosters that Kratos managed to put together a pretty tasty team there for Dogs, considering the teams he'd been running in the Razor Cups throughout the pre-season. I think it's worked out pretty well for him.
Yeah, I guess that's just what happens when people want to play TF2, man. They just manage
They'll even play with Kratos if they're that desperate. It's true.
Oh, poor Kratos. Well, he's been around in Prem roughly for a while now. Even if it is the outskirts of Prem, whether or not it's just like not quite making it or just making it into Prem, he's still seasoned in just to say the least.
We're getting ready here. Teams are readying up on the server. I'm going to throw my weight in behind mamka. Yeah, I know. Controversial opinion.
Wow.
But I said it. TurboTabs.
Stop the presses. Okay, well, I guess I'll play devil's advocate and I will go with Bleeding Edge. I'm sure they've realised their mistakes. They've pulled themselves together and they're just going to completely rock the world of mamka on this granary map. And we are live. If you're just joining us, this is our coverage of the Champions Cup. I'm joined with Admirable, DavidTheWin on the camera, and I actually see a very quick Kraftos to middle. I don't even know where Volper is. He actually tried to go roll that high and was greeted with a huge amount of damage. He does get taken out by Snakes, who finally meet up with him in that ramp room. And it's actually divulged to Bleeding Edge winning out. I guess all the aggressions just fell into the arms of Bleeding Edge, and they've just greeted them with a set of kills. You actually see Hex and Teddy cleaning up for their team, the soldiers for Bleeding Edge, and now it's just poor little Ibo by himself. He does actually run away with 60% Uber, so he could probably hold on to some sort of advantage, maybe even push back into middle.
Yeah, big Hex coming up huge for his team there, despite Kraftos seeming to have won that early battle on middle. The Turks managed to just blob up in the corner there and soak up that soldier aggression, turn things around. But it is going to be Uber advantage here for Abo, 999, and mamka are ready to push out for Lithuania. They're going to send 3-4 players out on the right hand flank, but their medic is way behind them here, so this is kind of dangerous. Teddy Bagwell ends up trading with Kraftos there. He's going to be happy with that. Demo Man down. That's going to be a lot of the cutting edge here for mamka being blunted. They're trying to move forward though. I think they're going to commit to this anyway, but only 20% more needed for Alfred. No, sorry. Kayu's playing medic now.
What?
Kaiju has switched up.
I guess maybe the ping was just way too much for Kaiju and they decided to actually swap out classes. What sort of... I've never seen a team, at least not on the big streaming screen, to swap out classes during an official. But I guess desperate times call for desperate measures, Admirable.
Yeah, nobody wants to play against 150 ping medic, so it's probably the best case scenario here for Bleeding Edge. They're starting to move through on the right hand side. They've already found 2 frags and they're going to corner Evoke there. Volper is going to claim him as well. They moved in here, they forced the Uber, but they can continue to push. Kraftas is trying to contest from the left with the remains of his buff, but he's bought enough time at least for his medic to escape. And he's going to actually get a frag there onto Teddy, so just as the respawns come in here for mamka, I think they're good to go. You know, they got 6 up, they got decent health. Go for it.
Well, Nighthawk was hiding in the midst of things, seeing if he could pick someone off, but he doesn't get anything out of that. He tries to flank in from this left hand side instead and just gets completely creamed for it, but Snakes has just decided that sure, Nighthawk went down, that's my time to shine, but Kraftas takes a page out of the aggression book and just completely destroys 2 people with the same pipe, and now they're just cleaning up all these low players over on Bleeding Edge. Alfred, the medic turned scout, is the only one to survive. I guess that medic sense is still kicking in him, just surviving towards the end of that fight.
That was kind of disappointing there to see Kau go down so easily, but well played to Kraftas for finding that pipe. The Uber advantage is massive here for mamka. They have a huge window of time to work with, and they can be careful about proceeding into the yard here. Nighthawk's going to beat out the det from Volper there, and he's resetting more stickies. He's dead again, so they can just walk in here. He's in a reloading cycle, and finally the Lithuanians are moving in. They're going all the way into the right yard. They're bringing their full cohort here. 6 players. Nice splitting off. We're going to see Nighthawk and Evoke working the flank, but Alfred's coming from drop down as scout. He's going to ghost in behind here. Rox is looking the wrong way. He's going to catch 3, 4 shots, but he can't get the frag, but he sets it up there for Teddy Bagwell.
And now, but Teddy's having scouts crawling all over him, and it's very difficult for him to manage. He does pick up the health kit and manage to survive this that bit longer, whilst the Ubers are just currently scratching up against each other. There's no players inside, and now finally Hex enters the fight, and he's completely stacking on top of Evoke, but the scouts and the Demoman over on mamka join the fight as well, and they've completely wiped out Hex himself. And now with all these players left, there's only 3 players up to defend from Bleeding Edge. I just don't think they're going to hack it, and so they've lost that point. It's 1-0 to mamka. 25 minutes left on the clock. Admirable.
Hacked it, they have not. I think they were trying to use a spoon there to sever those limbs, but Kraftas is going to roll out here through ramp room and looking to pre-fire straight across there, but he can hear the position of Volpex. He's up top.
Rox is timed out though, again. Not again, but they've done it once, they can do it again. Admirable, and but they don't start off well. Snake has gone down. That's like a 3-player disadvantage already from the get-go for mamka. And now Evoke is trying his best. He's cleaned up Teddy. Can he clean up Hex? No, Hex has just got too much damage outpouring from him for him to really deal with. He doesn't have as many rockets in his clip to just deal with the sheer players, the numbers even.
Kraftas has 4 stickies up. Volper's going to walk in. He is dead. It's just slightly out of sync there with the position of the demo man. No frags claimed, but a little Uber advantage here for Bleeding Edge. If they just went right now, they could find themselves a brace of frags. There's this one scout going down. Nighthawk's trapped in the garage. If someone pushes over and helps Alfred there with that scout one-on-one, they would be able to get a second. Nighthawk is going to go down, and he doesn't manage to get a frag throughout that, so it's going to be 3 versus 6 here on last, and they're going to Uber in instantly as well. This might just give Ebo999 the chance he needs to milk this charge, but he's going to pop it off as they start to pressure the point. He and Evoke are just putting up sandbags here, man. They are fully defending this point, throwing bodies on there, get the machine gun turret out, but they're just all clustered up there. And Teddy Bagwell comes in from on high, raining down those rockets along with Hex.
They were doing work. Oh, Nighthawk just couldn't stay on top of that point long enough. The sheer splash damage was just pushing everybody off it, and they finally do win out. And Rox has decided to grace himself back into the game and just went, oh, we lost a round. Sorry, team.
They're just they're making it sporting here. Still 23 minutes left on the clock, and I'm checking out Kraftas as he rolls in from the bottom left. He's pre-firing his first sticky up top, but doesn't end up doing any damage with it. And they're just about to realise it is a right side rollout coming from Bleeding Edge here. Both soldiers jump up, but they don't really get forward, and Kai goes down as Evoke comes straight into his face there, all up in his grill. Medic down, and it's just a case of what frags can they get here on middle, and it looks like none for Bleeding Edge.
It seems that the strategy that Bleeding Edge need to pull off is they need to somehow sabotage Rock's computer, start downloading Pride and Prejudice remotely, something, just get him out of the game, and then maybe winning by 6v5. But in the meantime, with they've got the full 100% Uber advantage. I don't know why they're not pressing the issue. They even got a kill to open up the little fight, and you actually have Bleeding Edge with a pyro of all classes. I don't know what they're going to do with that class. You see him already trying to reflect the shots coming out of the scatterguns from mamka, but they are losing players. Okay, I guess that's just the heavy and the intimidation factor of the pyro. Abo's on fire, he's trying to get away. He might actually burn out before he finally finds a health back. He does find one onto the second point, gets out. He's probably going to meet Evoke, who's just respawned, but keep in mind this is Granary Pro Admirable. They're not going to get that that huge, almost game-breaking forward resupply from yesteryear. It's going to be the old, this new fangled angled resupply from over on the midpoint.
Yeah, you have to remember, if you're just looking at the scoreboard there as Evoke, thinking of contesting that your teammates are going to be like 4 or 5 seconds slower. He's gone in and died there, tried to get the foresight, but didn't manage to make it happen. So Kaju's walking in here left hand side. They seem to be in full control of middle, but Rox is going to skip jump off the crate. He's in on the Kaju. His first rocket's no good. Oh! The air shot almost connects, but a little splash damage.
Oh,
that's
no,
sticky!
Is hiding.
That's huge, sticky! Sniped him!
Craftas is hiding up on the lamp, and he was just watching this. He was like a goddamn turret up in the sky. A laser beam is shooting down, thunderbolt, you know, taking out those players before they even knew what was going on. Even I didn't see that coming because my camera was just so far in, and he was just so way up in the sky. A big play, I guess, coming out from mamka, just throwing in all their players and then just using the I guess the artillery just to finish off those weak players there.
That was ridiculous. Lofted from on high, that one sticky, enough to kill off a weakened medic. Big drop, and things are turned around here. Mamka now with a slight uber charge lead, but having retaken that territory, they're just looking to bait someone into Craftas' sticky trap on the right hand side here. Volper sees the door open, he must suspect something is up. Craftas is going to try and trade pipes with him, but neither demo man really connecting now. As the uber charge gets increasingly near, we're going to see the buffs doled out and the big pallies get enacted.
You see Nighthawk stepping his way into the mid. He's completely uncontested, but Kaiju actually backs out to his resupply, so there's nobody that could possibly scratch him whilst he's in there. He was brought down very low, but in the end, if you're in that resupply, you're in home free. Kaiju comes back with a full set of health and is now pushing with his team. He's got the 100% Uber advantage, but so does Ibu. Maybe they'll use the Super to defend out the second point. They're just trying to defend it from an arm's length away so far. You see both teams just trying to sticky up each other, use the splash damage, not even trying to look directly at each other whilst still doing damage. Rox does pick off Alfred, who's trying to flank behind. They do give up second. I'm not sure if that was the right call, but we'll see how it does play out for them. They're trying to wrap around from this left hand side, and Hex is brought down very low. Snakes has actually finished him off. The Uber does get forced out on the midpoint, and they're trying to get out from this lobby area. Rox is kind of flanking around to the left hand side, but Nighthawk, who's sitting in the yard, actually picks off Kaiju, who's completely overextended away from his team, and now the poor scouts have to defend by themselves. I think Snakes could take this by himself with the buff, and so he does. That's 2-1-2 mamka. I'm not sure what Bleeding Edge are going to do here, Admirable.
It doesn't look like Alfred is having much more luck than Kaiju was on Scout the last map, but we will go on to this fourth mid fight and see if our Turkish team have any tricks up their sleeve here. It's going to be Volper rolling out from ramp room, and he's aimed high when Craftas was on the floor, but he's actually ended up taking a little bit more of that chip damage. They're trying to beat out the Lithian aggression here, and they have managed to isolate Snakes. He goes out Nighthawk as well, so no scouts left here. But then comes the huge bombs forward here from Evoke. He picks up 2 kills off Kau and Alfred, and it just seems to be descending into pandemonium here. Ebo and Craftas thought they should stay in and take that fight, but they were actually outnumbered. It was 3 combat classes versus a medic and a demo man, and they just manhandled them there right at the end of that. And that's exactly what Bleeding Edge needed here.
With the combined health of 83 between the three players, they managed to do it by the skin of their teeth, and they do win out that midpoint. But keep in mind, both teams lost their medics, so this game is probably going to come to another standstill until that enters. Oh, actually, Evoke tried to go for the bomb, but the air pipe from Volper actually takes him out. But the Nighthawk. Nobody was paying attention to Nighthawk. Everyone was reloading their gun, and he just completely tears the medic away from that team. But Ibo is trying to defend off against a scout himself. They've almost capped out this second. They don't need no stinking medic, and they just instead take out all the players with guns over on the mamka side, completely rolling away with this. They could probably snatch this away from the Evoke. Overextends, gets taken out by the Demo Man, but he craters to the double scout combo, and Alfred just goes all the way back to his medic. Maybe they're just trying to play rock, paper, scissors. Who should play this medic class here, Admirable?
Oh, they just got forward spawn there, so they're going to have 5 on middle. Volper, though, the Demo Man, didn't make it, so no stickies here. If mamka are paying attention, they can go hard on that. They do have that Uber charge coming up as well. Heg's going to jump forward and catch Nighthawk there, just teaching him a lesson as he was popping those scatter shots cheekily from on high. Hex is continuing to put out the big damage, kills off Rocks there, and when they're 2 down, 3 down in fact, then mamka pop off the charge, and it's looking pretty dire here as the wraparound comes in. Hex and Rixel already on CP2/4 here, putting in work. They've turned the head of Avokier and of Evo 999, and both of them go down as they end up in a big Turkish sandwich. A kebab, in fact.
Well, they've got the kebab is capping last point, but Vox won't allow it. He's devoured him, and now Hex is trying to finish off Rock. Gives him, kills him for devouring his teammate, and now they're left going back, defending this second point. Nighthawk is peeking his way through on this flank-hand side. He's fighting up against Alfred. Does he have better DM than the medic? It seems not today. Alfred representing for medics everywhere, killing that pesky scout. There was a lot of emotion behind that kill, Admirable.
Alfred is now trying to just run through here back to the loving arms of his medic buddy Kaju, but he survives, but Rixel runs in and dies. It's actually 5-on-5 here, but nobody really taking the initiative. Snakes is going to step on the point, but he doesn't have the support of his team. The Lithuanians kind of showing them a little respect here for some reason, but now they're going to go for it. Despite being outnumbered, they're trying to take this fight on the point. Bleeding Edge playing a dangerous game. Their Demo Man gets isolated. Nighthawk claims that frag, and as the Ubers fade here, it's going to be a relative man advantage for mamka. They're trying to kill off Teddy Bagwell, but he's giving them the slip. Manages to kill the medic! What are you doing, Rocks? Unbelievable. That was just absolute garbage gamer play there from Rocks. He just, I think he must have assumed Teddy was dead, but he couldn't see him behind the pillar, and he reloaded another rocket and finished off his medic there. And if I was Evo 999, I would just be throwing my monitor out the window.
Well, it really does seem like a game of mistakes after mistakes after mistakes, Admirable. You actually saw Bleeding Edge try to just push in there with the Uber and try to block the point. They were too late to do that, but they just made it work and dropped the medic either way. Now they've just overextended. Both Alfred and Hex go down, and this is probably going to prompt the push out of mamka. All the players are just trying to catch up. They're looking to push from this ramp road side. And we see Volper is not in a position to defend anything. He's just kind of trying to set up random stick. He just jumps into the fight, why not? And he's trying to rain out a huge amount of damage, but he's just getting completely countered upon. He does go down, and now Alfred is trying to take on a full health Evoke. And Vox trying to respond to Hex, who's jumping on top of Ibo right now. And Hex actually cleans him up. And nobody really wants to address this Turkish soldier, so they just decide to cap middle instead and just let Hex come to them instead.
He's coming in now, but he doesn't realise Nighthawk is right behind him. 60 health isn't going to be enough to survive that. 2 shots taking him down. So man advantage here and Uber advantage for mamka as they just pour out into the right hand yard here. Alfred wants to take the fight, but his teammates are like, buddy! They have Uber, look at the scoreboard. He's gone down though, and it's actually a 2-man advantage here for mamka as their Uber fades. They'll be happy with that trade, and they can continue to push here if they want to, but it looks like they just want to make sure they get this cap They're kind of cagey, well, a little unsure of themselves. Nighthawk and Evoke are totally unflapped though. They're just going to keep pushing forward here. Evoke gets Kaju down to 100. Nighthawk's trying to run forward, gets launched up on a little surf there, manages to get that med pick, and as everyone turns around to try and kill off that pesky scout, the damage just rains in from Kraftas, and they wipe Bleeding Edge just as they cap the point.
12 minutes left on the clock. Bleeding Edge do have a reasonable chance to claw this back, and it's been done ever so famously before by other teams. Maybe Bleeding Edge can notch their way into the stone of that Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame. You see Volper's turned up to mid, but he's taking a huge amount of damage from Kraftas, and now the scouts try to back up their injured demo man. Alfred is trying to get on top of Rox, who's managed to get himself behind. He's with the power of Rox and Snake, they've killed off the medic Kaiju, and the aim for Mamka now is just kind of get those heals out, but no more heals for you, Mamka. Now they just have to kind of raw DM it, and Hex is still alive. It's Scout versus Soldier, the good old classic. We'll see who takes away with this. We see Hex trying to edge himself out. He's brought down Snakes very low, but he's just picked up the health back. Hex has done the same. It's like I'm watching MGE here. Who has the highest rank, Admirable? Snakes?
Nice Rockets.
Yeah, Hex using that height advantage, and there's just nothing the poor Scout can do. It's just the wrong arena for the Scout.
Nighthawk's coming in just as Hex. That's a huge rocket from Hex! Nighthawk craters!
Oh, but Soldier's hinting in now, and Rox has just cleaned him up, but the rest of the whole Bleeding Edge team has decided to clean up Rox. But this isn't swayed off Mamka. They kind of poked in there for a second. I thought they were just going to go for it with the 3 players that respawned up, but decided against it. That's smart decision making from Mamka, realizing that they just don't have the head count to take on Bleeding Edge right now. They'll just go back, build up that Uber, and then maybe think about pushing in. But it's actually Kaiju who's deciding to push in with his already built Uber. He's pushing on this left hand side, sidestepping all the shenanigans in this right hand side yard, and just going in from the left. They might even pick off a player. Yes, they have. They've killed Rox. Nighthawk is still kind of poking in from this left hand side. They popped the Uber. They're trying to kill the flank inside, but they've used their Uber to kind of deal with the flank on that, and they've lost the flank from that red Uber. You actually see Evoke coming back in, trying to pick off the medic, and turn his attention to Teddy, who is injuring Nighthawk. They've been completely wiped, Bleeding Edge, and only Kraftas is the only casualty from that little skirmish.
A really smart play there from Evoke, taking that Uber to the un-Ubered players that couldn't be saved there. So a great Uber trade coming up from Mamka to turn things around yet again. There's still 2 rounds in the lead here, 3-1 with 9 minutes and 25 seconds on the clock. Alfred's going to go down though, but it seems like his teammates just want to keep pushing anyway. I guess they want to do it for Alfred. That's what he would have wanted, guys.
And Alfred is not displeased. They've done a very good job so far, picking up 2 kills, and they're now going to pick up a 3rd. Evoke goes down,
Sneaks.
and yeah, Sneaks is behind. Oh, he's always been behind. I don't think there's ever a time that he's not been behind. He's now fighting up against Scout. Alfred! Alfred, you would think he was a medic, but he's not a medic. Probably in his heart of hearts, he is a Scout, and he's completely decimated him. What a little matchup from Alfred, taking out Snakes there. And now Rox actually cleans up Kaiju. Kaiju goes down, and that's going to stunt the push ever so slightly for Bleeding Edge. And they do have their medic up, so they have a good chance of defending this, but there's a lot of players for Evoke to deal with. They've actually sent Kraftos behind, and he's doing raining damage from the unsuspecting demo man over on Bleeding Edge. Alfred is sort of behind as well. He's hunting, he's trying to whip out more scouts that he can decimate, but it's just him. Can he do more than just whip out 1 scout? But he seems to get out from the drop down. Hex is trying to hide. He's found himself a demo man, but the rest of Mamka found them. Alfred was just trying to give him emotional support. He doesn't want to let poor Hex down and not run away, but he probably should have, Admirable.
Yeah, he thought he was Batman, but he's just the butler. He got absolutely shreked there on drop down. They're starting to back out a little bit here, but it's Kritzkrieg coming up for Caillou. And I respect this decision. They're 2 rounds down, they're playing Granary, a traditionally slow map. It's time to try and make something happen here, force the issue with only 7 minutes 40 seconds remaining. But already they've lost the flank. Alfred's through, Nighthawk's gunned him down, and he's going all the way around here. The crits has come out. and it's forced the Uber as well. They managed to get one frag with it, but they're kind of horribly positioned here. They try to retreat, but it's going to be a huge wipe coming in here. The crits, that double-edged sword, man, it ended up being their demise.
Kraftas is already on last. He's put some stickies out, and Alfred's just gone pyro, and he's done a good amount of damage to Kraftas, but you know, he's just a pyro at the end of the day. He's just not that good at bursting down targets. Maybe if everybody, all 6 players of Mamka got underneath the flames and they all decided to miss like 3 shots in a row, then maybe, just maybe, they could have defended that.
Should have run the back burner. What an idiot. It's going to be crits to mid though from a Bleeding Edge, and they need every edge they can find here to try and turn this around. They're 3 rounds down now. Rox jumps straight behind and turns a lot of heads there on the flank for his teammates to try and follow up. Avoke jumps in and manages to kill a Volper. Demoman down. Rixel already waiting there in the spawn queue for him, and that is just a flurry of frags coming in there in favour of Mamka. The Lithuanians, man, they're just going to go ham right now. They want to end this as quickly as possible. They don't even want to play the full 30 minutes.
Well, I wish I could have seen it, but my TF2 slightly crashed for a second there. I think I just pressed the Windows key. A shameful newbie mistake by me, so you're going to have to take it away with that.
Go and get a set of pliers and rip that out right now. Take that from your keyboard. But it is going to be a huge uber advantage push in the making here for Mamka. They're just going to walk out left hand side. Nighthawk leading the push, trying to bait out a few players, and they have managed to set up that frag on the Hex. The key player on Bleeding Edge is down. Alfred as well. Rest in peace. Still 6 up right now for Mamka. Kraftas steps on the point but goes down, but there's just such a huge advantage here. They're already in position, standing on top of that point, and they're going to be able to claim another round here, making it 5-1. It's map point here, it's match point. If they can claim this next round, they will have secured their passage into the round of 16.
Sure, the road of glory for Bleeding Edge starts right now. When we look back on them, where they're holding this Champion Cup trophy, spending their hard-earned cash, they'll look back at this moment and think, this was the turning point. We'll see what they do. Rix has gone up top. He's trying to lay out some aggression on that aggressive Rox, and he does run away with the Demoman kill, but I'm sure they can still do this Bleeding Edge. They've lost another player, but I'm sure they can still do this Bleeding Edge. Oh, it's just Kaiju and a 11 HP Rix. He's buffed him up with the crossbow, and now he's just little Kaiju by himself. He's trying to run away. He's trying to craft the master plan. He's been taken out himself. Oh no. Maybe it was all a dream, Admirable. Maybe they're not the ones that are going to win this Champions Cup after all.
Not like this! Not like this!
Not like this!
Wow. Nighthawk, he's on 2 health there, having been peppered with stickies, but they're going to get buffed up and they are just ready to go, man. They've got that charge. Kaiju switches up to crits, man. He is hoping for a miracle defense here. Nighthawk's already in though, and he's straight onto Volper. He's got no protection. Gets the Demoman pick. And
is he going to get out? He's actually turned around. He wants to fight. He's fighting off against a buff scout. He shows no remorse, no scare. And Rix is now the one being scared himself. They've got so much capture time. Teddy's not even going outside to bother defending this. They left the server just about before they could even call GG. Kaiju, the only respectful one, calling GG for his team, and that is it. I guess the champions, at least for this first round, has been crowned, and it will be Mamka.
Yeah, the Turkish dreams are over. They have been eliminated from the tournament. At least that's my understanding. We're just single elimination, right?
Yeah, that's single elimination. They're out. I hope you've got no love towards Bleeding Edge, because they're out of your lives forever, Admirable.
My bleeding heart. Now let's look at the logs, Turbo.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Alright, well, actually, I look at damage far too often. Let's look at...
Look at the damage!
Okay, yeah. Fine.
Hex is top. Hex was trying his hardest to carry his teammates.
Team, what are you doing? Hex is saying probably out loud, and Teddy was trying his best. He pencils himself into the midpoint, a lot like his rocket jumps, but it wasn't meant to be. You see, not only was Evoke and Kraftas top damage for their team again, but you actually joined up there with Nighthawk, who was putting in an impressive display, just being a constant aggressive force for that Mamka team. Well,
DavidTheWin tells us in Mumble, he Googling or Googling mamka brings up the Polish wiki page for wet nurse.
wet. Why would they need a word for that?
I typed it into Google Translate and it says it's the Czech word for mum. But if I select Lithuanian as the language, let's see what happens.
We're answering the important questions here.
It says it means mumkus? What?
Oh, maybe it's a reference that goes over our heads. Maybe it's some sort of cultural thing.
Googling mumkus. No, it's all Lithuanian.
Nothing.
Pages.
Well,
rest
who would have saw that coming? Alright.
Well, the logs. Man, we've got to give a big shout out to Teddy Bagwell as well. Top on the air shot leaderboard.
I want to give a big shout out to Snakes, who got 16 caps for his team. The only one really with the objective in mind, it seems. I guess maybe he got behind so much there was maybe a bit of back caps thrown in there as well.
Shout out to my boy Alfred as well. He actually managed to produce a worse KAD and KD than Kaju did with 160 ping. But he had some impressive moments. That huge back cap denial against Sneegs. He'll live on in our hearts.
I'm sure if there was a passion stat, he would be off the charts. This was for all those medics out there that ever got killed by a scout.
Okay, Evoke has corrected me in Steam chat here. He says it's the slang word for mum. For mom. So American, mate. Yeah, noob. It wasn't whatever I said it was in the pre-game.
Well, we were close. We were getting there.
Unless your mother's a whore. Well.
And you thought it was an offensive word.
Yeah,
well,
I did.
We know, onto our next game though, Admirable. I believe it will be Top 5 Rocket versus Lego. This is a very hyped up match. Any predictions at all?
Not really. You'll have to, obviously have a rough idea what the top 5 roster is, but who's playing for Lego this season? Bring me up to speed, man.
I'll see if I can pull it up, or maybe I can just recite it from memory. If I'm the dedicated TF2 caster that I am, I believe it will be Condom on Medic,
oh no,
Dr. Phil on Demoman, Josh on Pocket Soldier, Demule on Roaming Soldier, Izon on Scout, and finally the previous Lego wonder himself, Sorex on Scout.
We've got Demule. Demule?
Yeah.
One of the greatest of all time. I am all over Lego then. They're going to take this one.
Yeah. The last time Demule played Soldier, he was rocking the direct hit, and that game truly brought a tear to my eye. I'm sure the memories are flooding back for you, Admirable.
I remember he was playing as a Merc, right? And he was running the direct hit.
Yes, he was.
For E-Shock or something.
Mm-hmm.
What a troll. What a guy. He mercs for your team and runs the direct hit.
And now he's playing for the Lego squad. But over on the top 5 Rocket team, maybe shout out at me if you recognise any of these players. Admirable. We do have Opti on Scout, with Blitzo being his other half on the Scout role. We also have Medico on the Pocket Soldier, and also Neo on the Roaming Soldier. Demoman for that team. Oh, he does escape me, so I might just cheat and skip to Medic and say that's going to be Ombrak. But the Demoman, who is the Demoman? Kaizo, I remember that. Huh? Any of these ring a bell, Admirable?
Yeah, it sounds like they've got new soldiers, though. I don't remember Neo from the previous top 5 Rocket.
Well, they are quite a land-proven team. They've turned up to quite a lot of French lands, Twiggy tells me. So they are a force to be reckoned with now, and they're just like a team that's been crafted out of friendship. They like to believe, but I also agree with them. And sometimes when you just play TF2 as a team, and all as part of one big friendly circle, you just find yourself that you just launch your way all the way up to Prem.
What happened to Smurf? Is he not playing Sky for them anymore?
No, I don't see him. I guess Blitzo was the replacement scout for that team, possibly. I don't know. I wish I could tell you the history of Top 5 Rocket, but they weren't
I think
quite on my radar.
Opti used to play Soldier. Blitzer was always Scout with Smurf. Maybe that's the change. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Well, now that we know who these teams are, what they'll be playing for, Admirable is they'll be not only trying to traverse their way past this second round, but they'll want to win this best of 3 to decide who will get into the Premiership Gaming, the big cheese, the stabled Hall of Fame. Once you're in there, you're Prem forever, baby.
If you're going to be a big cheese, Le Grand Fromage, I think it would have to be, top 5. But if we're talking about who is the superior TF2 team, it's the team with Sorex on it, man.
Yes, that guy was a powerhouse when he first burst onto the scene a while ago. I think his first Prem debut was actually with Lego a few seasons ago, and he was just putting that team on his back and just carrying them all whenever they had an upset. So it's very interesting to see what he could do in this upcoming match. But
Lego really started to show some promise last season, especially with Crizzle moving to pocket. He really seemed to come into his own towards the end of the season. Josh, obviously a great roamer as well.
Incidentally, Crizzle is gone though. So
what?
Yeah,
he's Josh on pocket.
Yeah, remember, it's Josh on pocket, Demul on roamer.
Oh my god, they're gonna lose.
You were all up in arms earlier. Oh, they've got Sorek, but they don't have Crizzle. Oh, they're gonna lose.
Crizzle, he melted my icy heart after I abused him for several seasons in a row. He hit an air shot onto Maryland that, changed my life forever.
Well, I guess who's it going to come down to, Admirable? Is it going to be the familiar faces, or is it just going to be the power of friendship? He seems
I guess you just have to go with the Prem experience here in Black Lego. But big question mark over Condom. No idea how this chemistry is going to be working out. Top 5, they are riding that underdog wave. They could do it, man. I think it's going to go 3 maps here.
Yeah, they've been a pretty huge team. They've impressed me at every single turn of the Prem qualifiers. So I expect them to do well today. Maybe even take it. Maybe even take it away. I am being told though that the match we are hyped up for, that we're just on the edge of our seats. We're going to have to take roughly a 30-minute break. I've left my washing outside, so I'm going to go fetch that in until the players get all gathered up and started. So don't go away, don't move a muscle. We will be back in 30 minutes with Top 5 Rocket versus Lego, the Prem qualifier / round 2 of the Champions Cup. Don't go away.